Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl Nique, and you're tuned in to Nique at Night. Okay, and over here we're going to be talking about this post that pretty much is going viral on Twitter, and it's basically sparking the conversation of colorism. But before we get into that post, I want to see who's a part of the Night Owl community and who's new here. So if you are new and this is your first time to my channel, I want you to go ahead and drop a half moon emoji in the comments. If you are a night owl and you've been here a while, I want you to drop an owl in the comments, and we'll see who's a part of the community and who's new to the community while we share our thoughts on the topic. Okay? And if you're new here, you know, my night owls already know we got a website, I got accessories, I got all kind of goodies on there. So check it out, get you some coin off and everything like that. And, you know, let's support each other. Okay? But anyways, let's get serious. Let's get into this topic. Let's see what's going on and what the folks are talking about. So this post was posted on Facebook initially, and somebody screenshotted it, took the conversation to Twitter, and now it has been bubbling over there with a lot of people talking about the matter and featureism, colorism, and all of these isms that we're going to talk about right now. So a woman posted on her post and she said, "My daughter got to be pretty, curly hair, light skin, green eyes, and grow up to have a big booty with a slim waist. If she look anything else, I'm giving her A to them foster peoples." Okay? So she basically was saying what she felt like she wanted her ideal daughter to be. And a lot of people were outraged that a dark-skinned woman who was beautiful would be theorizing this imaginary child that looks nothing like herself, and she's basically idolizing and saying like, this is the form that I want my child to be, etc., etc. And then people were like, well, that's odd that you would want a child that looks nothing like you. You're describing you want this light-skinned child, you're dark-skinned, you want her to have these colored eyes, you want her to blah, 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 blah. And then there was the whole conversation of, you know, well, she's a pretty girl, so why would she da, 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 da. Now, whether a person considers you to be attractive or not, colorism is something that a lot of people face in the Black community, and it is not something that just affects women. It is something that affects women and men. Oftentimes, being that we are in this day and time, a lot of people think that we're over it. We're over slavery. We're over colorism. We're over this. We're over that. And they try to sweep these conversations under the rug. But a lot of people are still affected by this today. Now, this woman is not the only person who has these ideas or these thoughts. There has been several rappers, several people, and several like public interviews with people sharing this same type of ideology. The only difference is, instead of saying what they want their future child to look like, they mask it with what they say their preference is. Oftentimes, you'll hear people say what their preference is, and a lot of times when people are dating these preferences, they're thinking about their kids in mind. So let's just listen to a few, because some are even bold to just outright even just say it point blank and period.
Like light skinned guys, and I think it's just personally because I don't want no nappy head baby.
What?
Guys, and I think it's just personally because I don't want no nappy head baby.
What?
I know if I'm fucking with you, I'm black as fuck, right? I'm black as shit.
Yeah, black is beautiful though, man.
So I know if I fuck with a black bitch, we gonna have a black ass baby.
So?
I ain't with that.
Why?
Cause I'm already black as fuck.
So?
I can't. No.
Well, I mean, this is an interesting thing. You know what I mean? Like, so if you have a baby, you don't want your baby to be the same complexion as you?
Mm.
Why?
This a once in a lifetime thing.
What do you mean?
Like, this a dark ass shade. They be hell nah. I can't.
And everybody's buzzing about it on Twitter, so I gotta ask whatever. You like black? You said you like black girls, but you said it's just like.
I answered this question earlier. You know.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I have a need to simplify it again, but I'm gonna simplify it again.
Okay.
You know, I carry myself like I'm an average dude because I don't see myself no better than him, no better than him, you know, or no less than him. So if he could say that he likes skinny women, if he prefers skinny women more than a more chubby or heavy-set women, he could say that and nobody won't get mad at him. I just said I don't like women with my complexion. I like light-skinned women. I want you to be lighter than me. I love African-American women, but I just don't like my skin complexion.
And why like your skin complexion?
We too gutter. Black people, my complexion, we too gutter. Light-skinned women, they more sensitive, you know?
Some dark-skinned women out here sensitive.
No, they too tough. They too tough. Light-skinned women, we could break them down more easy, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So as you can see, this type of thinking is prevalent in the Black community, and that's not just this woman ways of thinking. Oftentimes, a lot of people try to act like, oh my God, I can't believe she thinks that way. Oh my God. And they try to act shocked when they see somebody have this type of rhetoric. But then when you turn on the radio, all you hear in every single song is who being praised, who being named to be desirable. Who do you see excelling in music and, you know, in film and in stardom? You think a dark-skinned woman, a.k.a. Sukiana, or other dark-skinned women who act exactly like Cardi B will ever touch the same type of stages, the same type of stardom and fame? No. Dark-skinned women, even if they have the same behavior as a light-skinned Latina, will still be looked at as the more ratchet, less desirable person, even though they have the same behavior. So when I see people thinking with this mentality and they think, oh, my daughter got to be pretty, curly hair, light skin, green eyes, grow up to have a big booty with a slim waist. Now that part kind of, you know, was a little more sexualizing. But as far as like skin tone, curly hair and things like that, I'm not shocked like these other people try to act like, oh my God, how can you think like that? When every time you turn on the radio, you hear Lil Wayne talking about the red bone he want. You hear YG talking about his light-skinned babies he got and how he want a yellow bone. You hear Nipsey Hussle also in songs praising light-skinned women, and a whole bunch of host of other artists praising that. And the reason that people feel this way is because oftentimes they project how they were treated, how they viewed themselves, and how they felt about themselves onto their children, or how they wish that they were. Basically, what this post was given was, I myself didn't feel pretty. I didn't feel beautiful. And I want to give my child what I didn't have. I want to give my child what I feel like would have been an easier life. You know, a lot of people glorify and glamorize light skin. They glorify and glamorize. It'll be the most basic looking, you know, light skinned chick, and people will overhype them just for the simple fact that they are light-skinned. So this person is feeling like, you know, well, at least I can give my child a leg up. It's kind of the same mentality of people who try to give, when you see those, it's similar to the mentality of the parents pretty much trying to live their dreams through their children. A lot of people didn't make it in football, or they didn't make it in modeling, or they didn't make it in beauty pageants, or they didn't make it in certain things. So then they project that onto their child, and they try to force their child to live lifestyles that they were not able to fulfill, and try to push it and force it on their children to live the dreams that they didn't. And so when I read that, this was kind of synonymous to that in my eyes, of a person feeling like that. Okay, so I don't know if y'all remember this article, but Beyonce's daddy, he basically admitted to his thought process being similar to the woman who I showed y'all in the tweet. He touched on colorism and what led him to even dating Beyonce's mom, because he initially thought that she was white. He talked about how, you know, it was ingrained in him from a very young age. And he even talked about, you know, how his mom basically didn't want him to bring home no nappy-headed woman or whatever. And this is something that we don't talk about, how embedded and ingrained this ideology and this way of thinking is. So every time I get on the internet and people try to act shocked, like, oh my God, how can you think like that? It's like, do you not see what's going on around you? Do you not see how a lot of people have this ingrained mentality to think that, you know, fair skin is the right skin, even now today in 2021? I'm going to read you guys a little bit of this article just to refresh your memory on what was said. And again, the woman who posted that tweet isn't the only one who thinks like that. I showed you guys examples of people. There are plenty people in the Black community who think exactly the same way. So let's read a little bit of this right after we hear from the sponsor, which is myself. We're going to get into the article right after this video. Now, as you guys know, or some of you may not know, I have a website called nique@nite.com, and it's spelled exactly like my channel. Save 15% off your next order by putting in the code NIGHTOUT at checkout. I have some fun couples games that you can play, and I have all the sizes for all the girls, and I even have a category for men and the spicy toys that we might enjoy. Website link in the description, so head on over there ASAP. So this was basically an interview that he did with Ebony. It says, Matthew Knowles, the father of Beyonce, admits in a new interview that colorism influenced his decision to date Tina Knowles, the mother of the superstar singer, and her sister Solange. He said initially he thought Tina was white. In the interview with Ebony to promote his new book, Racism from the Eyes of a Child, Knowles reveals that his preference was deeply ingrained in him as he grew up in Alabama in the 1950s and 1960s. Colorism, as defined by novelist Alice Walker, is the prejudice or preferential treatment of people based solely on their skin color, whereas racism is preference based on blah, blah, blah. We the people know what colorism is, so I don't need to break that down. So anyways, I'll go to this excerpt, and it says, when I was growing up, my mother used to say, don't ever bring no nappy-head black girl to my house. Knowles told Ebony in the Deep South in the 50s and the 60s and 70s, the shade of your blackness was considered important. So I unfortunately grew up hearing that message. The prejudice led him to date mostly white women or very high complexion black women that looked white, he said. That's the reason he started dating the woman who would become his wife of 31 years. I actually thought when I met Tina, my former wife, that she was white, Knowles told Ebony. When he found out later that Tina wasn't white, he also learned that she was actually very much in tune with her blackness. The couple announced in 2009 that they were breaking up, blah, 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 blah. But I just basically just wanted to read that and just show you guys that this isn't just the mentality of this woman. This didn't just happen yesterday. She isn't the only odd one out. There are a lot of people who grow up just like this. They ingrain this in their children, and it just constantly keeps coming back up to where you see these instances of people not loving their blackness, wanting fair skinned children, wanting light-skinned kids, because that's what's glamorized and glorified in the media, and that's what people desire to be more desirable. Take a look at this video that this woman did, talking and hitting on the men that you see in Hollywood. Now, when I show you this, the men in Hollywood are not a representation of the entire world. Obviously, I know that that is a small, scope, and the world is much bigger. There are more people who are dating black. However, a lot of people like to mirror what they see, and as a result, it starts to get mirrored in our community, and the cycle keeps on continuing of people not really loving their blackness and seeking out these exoticals or whatever.
From 2016, it was taken after the VMAs. Just take a look and tell me what you see. I see a bunch of black men with varied skin tones with women who are light-skinned black people, mixed race, or Kim Kardashian. All of those women have similar skin tones, and that's not a coincidence. 9 times out of 10, if you see a black man with even a little bit of clout, his partner is going to be lighter. And I know that saying that means that y'all are going to point out all of the exceptions in the comments, and that's fine, because pointing out the exceptions means that the rule holds true. We can critique the Kardashians for their exploitation of Black aesthetics. I know a lot of people feel like they parade their Black male partners and their mixed race children around as accessories. I mean, I don't know if I would go that far, but I will say that you cannot critique what the Kardashians do without also critiquing the Black men who align themselves with those women in order to get access to the social capital that being seen with the Kardashian or an exotic white woman like the Kardashians affords them. These are Black men looking for access.
When I seen this kind of going viral, I'm like, listen, like I have to talk about this on my YouTube because I feel like there was a lot of cap on the app on Twitter. Like under Twitter, there was a lot of think pieces and there was a lot of people acting as though colorism doesn't exist. They were acting as though it's absurd to feel this way. And they were ignoring the fact that society makes people feel as if they're less than. Society will have a woman who is beautiful feeling as though she's inadequate and she's less than. As you've heard the snippets that I played for you, all of the people who have made comments similar to this, this is not a new thing. This is not, oh my God, how could she think like this? There is a lot of people who think like this. There's a lot of people who project their insecurities onto you as well. For instance, like for me, for example, I had men kind of projecting their insecurities onto me because they made the assumption of what type of man they thought I liked. I even have to correct my homeboy sometimes because he be loud and wrong and he don't know what he's talking about as well. A lot of people, you know, they will automatically assume like, oh, you only date light-skinned men, or you only like light-skinned men, or you only like this, or you only like that, like making the assumption even on me. And it's like, I don't have a skin tone preference at all. You know, like I've dated every color of Black there is. However, I will be transparent with you and speak to younger me. So younger me, I was skinny. I always had a butt that was proportioned to my body, but I was very skinny. I wasn't really filled out like I am now. Now that I've had a child, I've filled out with my boobs, filled out with my butt, all naturally, just might I add. Okay, so y'all don't get that. Okay, but anyways, younger me, skinny, dark skin, gap tooth. I feel like I have always been attractive, but I've had my awkward stages too. However, when I was young, skinny Nique, the only people that would pursue me would be light-skinned Black men. If it was a dark-skinned man, like to other dark-skinned men, that's who I would get bullied by. I would get bullied by, you know, men who were my same color, dark-skinned men calling me Chewbacca, calling me like all kind of names or whatever. And people started to come up with this idea like, oh, well, I've seen her date a light-skinned man before, so you must only like light-skinned guys. And they would project things that have been projected all along. And it's like, no, I don't have any skin tone preference. I have how am I going to go after somebody who ain't going after me? You know what I'm saying? It wasn't until I started to fill out, you know, like I started to fill out into my adult body. I started to, you know, my boobs started to sprout. My butt started to come in. And I started to then get the, you know, I always liked you back in the day. You know, I always had a crush on you. Like comments from now it's all shades of men trying to pursue me, when that wasn't the case before. The same, you know, I had a crush on you back in the day, dudes was not looking twice my way, you know? And so it wasn't until I got older, filled into my body, that more variety of men started to approach me. Younger me, that's who would pursue me. When I would go out with my friends, the guys who would give me looks, the guys who would approach me, the guys who would deem me as being attractive would be light-skinned men. Now, just because that's who's pursuing me does not mean that I am not trying to date other colors. I like men of all shapes, and I ain't gonna say all shapes. Now, I would be lying if I said all shapes. But I like black men of all colors. I will say that. And so I always hate when this perception is spewed out because it's very inaccurate. It's very, very inaccurate because I do not have a skin tone bias or preference or anything like that. I do not, have that. But a lot of people perceive that like, oh, you dated this guy, he was light skinned, you dated that guy who was light skinned. But then it's like, but you are leaving out the guy who I dated that was blacker than me, or a guy who is this or that. Like, I genuinely love black men. And so me loving black men is me loving black men that come in all shades. Now, if I showed you my roster right now, you go see the damn color of the rainbow of black, okay? Because I like my ninjas, okay? No, I'm just kidding. Let me not. But no, for real. As a society, jokes aside, as a society, is there ever going to be a place where people love their blackness more? I feel like during the pandemic, you had a lot of people who started to be more in tune with their blackness. A lot of people started to see what was going on. There was like a fine microscope of the injustices, the racism that was going on and things like that. And you've seen a lot of people start to, go more natural, go more into their roots, dig deeper into their blackness and love on their people more. But as we got into 2021, I started hearing all of the light-skinned Redbone songs popping up again and people steering back away and reverting back to the original brown paper bag, favorable, more desired, fair skin type of way of thinking. There's a lot of people who, like I said, in 2020 were very, very much, pro-black. And then now you see more, people going back to normal, back at each other's heads. So is there ever going to be a stride forward where people actually genuinely love their blackness? What I will say also, in addition to my rant about the guys that I date, I just have to put that in there because people be assuming stuff that just is not true. Because if you've seen who they're right. Shut up. Anyways, they just be assuming stuff that isn't true. But what I will say though, I see preferences change a lot. Like, I see like a lot of people who have like all of these standards. I think that like that goes more into like a younger mentality as well. So a person who would genuinely say like, oh, my girl gotta be, skinny with a flat stomach or this or that. As you get older, you kind of appreciate somebody more fuller, more voluptuous. Like, people's mentality changes. So I think with colorism too, the reason why more dark-skinned men would start to approach me more once I filled out, I don't think it was just because I filled out. I think because mentally they grew up. And I think that type of thinking goes with an immature rhetoric. And also, too, it's also a subconscious of things that also were ingrained. A lot of people, they were bullied being dark-skinned. They didn't want that for their child. So then they go out and seek this suitor that their preference is, light, and try to make these babies. Now, a lot of people, they get highly disappointed when they black gene is a lot stronger than that light skin or that white girl that they thought. But hey, that's a conversation for another day. But people just are infatuated with mixed babies. Like, I seen when Jeannie Mai announced that she was pregnant, a lot of people was like, oh my God, their babies are gonna be so beautiful. And I was looking like, why are y'all assuming that their babies are gonna be so beautiful because she is Asian and he's black? Because when I see Jeannie Mai, no shade, she might have a great personality. A lot of people like her, whatever. It is what it is. I'm going to be real. I see a funny looking lady, like I don't see it. And Jeezy, I wouldn't say he's ugly. He's not an ugly guy. But like when I look at the pair, like I'm just like, what are you guys basing that their kids are gonna be so beautiful off of it. And the only thing that I could think of is because she Asian and he black, and people thinking that a mixed baby is gonna be this bombshell of a baby. You know what I'm saying? Because again, no shade. And I'm sorry to the Jeannie Mai fans or whatever. I'm not saying I'm the most beautiful girl in the world. People think I'm funny looking. But when I look at her, I see somebody she's a funny looking Asian woman to me. That's my opinion. So I just always think like people just be infatuated with mixed babies. They be infatuated with, wanting light-skinned kids and things like that. And my question just is to like, how do we get away from that? How do we get back into more people loving their blackness? I guess I'll end on that note. You guys let me know.
I just got something to say. Why do black women get mad at us black men for dating white women? I don't get that. Like, black women, is it a problem that white women still us? Or do you want us to come to the black side?
Question of the day is, do you prefer light skin or dark skin?
Light skin.
Light skin.
Yeah, I'm gonna say light skin.
Dark skin.
Get this nigga. Wait, come here now. Come. Why? Stop. Why do y'all prefer what y'all said?
Light skins look better sometimes. Light skins be looking better. Light skin fine as hell, bro.
Oh God.
I can't see her ass on FaceTime. I don't want it.
You ugly. Bro, dark skin be thicker than light skin, period.
Can we talk about this video?
I'm a pass. I'm not into dark skins.
Dark skins ain't my type, but I smash just to see what it's like, you feel me?
Cause you thick.
Okay. Period.
You black and me.
I'm finding
Louisiana, I smash. You a freak. What your name is?
Zidane.
You look like you cool, but you ain't my type.
All right, that's that on that. Let's talk about it in the comments. Now, as you guys know, or some of you may not know, I have a website called nique@nite.com, and it's spelled exactly like my channel. Save 15% off your next order by putting in the code NIGHTOUT at checkout. I have some fun couples games that you can play, and I have all the sizes for all the girls, and I even have a category for men and the spicy toys that we might enjoy. Website link in the description, so head on over there ASAP.